Listen in Colour. Hi everyone, welcome to Listen in Colour with me, Rachel Walker-Mason. This one has been requested by basically all of you renegades. And because I watched part one and nearly had a meltdown, apparently part two is not as scary. Money Game part two.
Strange time we're living in, panic and hysteria. Poor man learn, the rich man don't care for your narcissist mindset spread like malaria. Sit back and watch the show. America Britain split through fickle shit. A government of hypocrites. These counterfeit politicians sit in parliament, not adequate. Come on, needlessly bleeding resources all dry.
Oh my gosh, this is so fun. I love this. It's got a very different feel. It's kind of like it's going to break into kind of like an Ed Sheeran kind of beat in a minute and have a big "I'm in love with the shape of you" kind of chorus, but it probably won't do that. But this has got a different feel. Like lyrically, it's still, you know, talking about the government and about terrible choices that have been made by people, particularly Brexit in the UK. It was a giant mess up, and it continues to be. But this is really interesting about, talking about the government, and then there's shots of our Houses of Parliament with the green benches. That's we see that on TV a lot, and so it's quite interesting that he's included that. Like, he's very controversial. One of you was saying that, you know, Ren stuff doesn't get played on the radio, and I can see why, because it's so politically divisive, it's so challenging that we certainly couldn't have that on like the BBC in the UK. They would never put this on because it's just too controversial. And that's probably why I've missed out on this amazing artist for all of this time. Gosh, it really makes you think about your life choices and where you stand on various political issues. It really makes you have to think about it. You can't hide away.
In parliament, not adequate. Come on, needlessly bleeding resources all dry. Turn a blind eye if it means a pay rise. Oh, what a shame it would be, I would die if number 10 Downing Street burned in a fire. Only joking, only messing, don't be stressing. I'm a peaceful adolescent, there's no need to be unpleasant. Write my thesis in a rhyme scheme to analyse the brain while my fingers on the trigger of a money game. Oh, rain, 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 a storm it comes our way. And no surprise to distorted lies, poison in the veins, but without the point.
Okay, so it's the same chorus as before, but it's just got the beat is much more kind of souped up now. You've got like drums in it and bass, and it's all a bit more kind of cool and edgy, because the Money Game part one is just the guitar and Ren, and I'm used to hearing that kind of acoustic stuff. So this is quite interesting, hearing more of a track around his voice. There's some really interesting things about number 10 Downing Street. So that's where if you're not from the UK, you probably know that's where our Prime Minister lives. And a lot of the government make quite a lot of money and live in really nice houses. And some of them have moats around their houses, like have a castle. And it's like, they don't need that, you know, kind of living situation. But a lot of them do because they can afford it. And they'll make certain choices because it will make them more money. And that's not really about serving your country in the way that you're meant to if you are a political leader. So it's quite interesting, Ren talking about all this, and he says, "Oh, I don't mean that I actually want to hurt any of you. I'm just, talking kind of peacefully about it."
And no surprise to distorted lies, poison in the veins, but without the point of blame. It's easier to blame, but point the mirror at ourselves. We're all part of this whole money game. This old money game.
Okay, I know where I could feel the Ed Sheeran coming through. It's the If you think of Shape of You, There's a lot of humming things in Ed Sheeran. Don't. A lot of those little hummable phrases. It's got very much that vibe, that very contemporary, relaxed kind of vibe. I really like this arrangement. It's kind of like part one of Money Game is like listening to the original version that he just played on his guitar. And then this is like, we went into a studio and we kind of built it up a bit with the track, and they've got a little bit of reverb on his voice and a little bit of echo effects and stuff. So it just feels more kind of polished. And I know this is a recording of him singing and this is the lyric video. And a lot of you said, please watch the lyric video for Money Game Part 2. So I am, because of you lot. So I know part one feels different because it's done live, so it doesn't have the same kind of polished vocals. He's doing something really interesting, which has a slightly kind of old jazz game. This is a very fast vibrato that Ray uses quite a lot, and sort of jazz singers like Ella Fitzgerald and people like that had that faster vibrato. If you listen to Ray, Whereas My Husband, which I've also reacted to, she does this whole ring, ring thing, and he does that on Game. It's a very fast, shimmery vibrato, which when he sings that line, it's all part of this old Money Game. It makes it feel like that line there makes it feel like the chorus has been around for a very long time, as in been sung in jazz clubs in New York in the 20s and things. Because essentially, the Money Game has been around since time began, really. And this is, I love how he has that little, whether that was intentional or not, it's just something cool that he can do. I love that it's like a little throwback to a different era that links you into thinking, yeah, this Money Game has been around for a long time. Oh, he's smart, he's talented, isn't he? Yeah, I love that you're not listing things that he can't. Like, is there anything he can't do? And you're like, he can't take off a jacket or something. There was some really, or carry 30 potatoes. Or I just love the things that you were saying. I love it. You should list the things that I can't do, because some of them are like, I can't whistle, I can't blow up a balloon. There's a lot of things I can't do that normal people can.
Money is a game and the ladder we climb turns a saint into a sinner with his finger in crime. I'll break it down for you motherfuckers line by line. This is business economics in a nursery rhyme. She sells seashells on a seashore, but the value of these shells will fall.
I might have to pause it there a second. This feels like Ren's next lecture in a series on economics. Like part one, Money Game, was kind of the introduction to the lecture series on economics, and this is the kind of the follow-up, teaching us the laws of supply and demand. Like, we all like to think we're good people, and that's how we get up in the morning and look at ourselves in the mirror, because we have to think we're a good person. But money really does make you think, okay, what would I compromise in my life if it would make me money? And you answer very differently if money's involved than you would if it wasn't. And that's a hard kind of fact to accept. There's very few people who wouldn't react differently if it would mean that there's money coming in, their family might be okay, they can go on some nice foreign holidays, they can buy a new car. What wouldn't we do? Well, what would we do? So this is fascinating, right?
Money is a game and the ladder we climb turns a saint into a sinner with his finger in crime. I'll break it down for you motherfuckers line by line. This is business economics in a nursery rhyme. She sells seashells on a seashore, but the value of these shells will fall due to the laws of supply and demand. No one wants to buy shells because there's loads on the sand. Step one, you must create a sense of scarcity. Shells will sell much better if the people think they're rare, you see. Bear with me, take as many shells as you can find and hide them on an island. Stockpile them high until they're rarer than a diamond. Step two,
Right. Oh my gosh. That is so smart, because that is it. If they taught economics like this at school, like, I probably would have actually listened. So yeah, this is how I'm going to learn about economics. But that was amazing, talking about the seashells thing, it's a bit like Jesus's parables. Jesus would talk about things in ways that normal people would understand. And this is, when people talk about Bitcoin or things like that, a lot of people are like, what? What's that? But if you talk about seashells, like, yeah, they're on the shore and it's like a nursery rhyme tongue twister thing that kids do. That's a brilliant analogy. And yeah, that is the thing. There are plenty of them. No one's going to pay for them because they can go and pick up their own. Diamonds are exactly the same. There are actually lots of diamonds, so they're actually not that rare. So De Beers and other companies did a thing where they basically kept all these diamonds and hid them away, like they're talking about hide them on an island, because then you create the concept of rarity. So then people will pay more for the diamonds because they think they can't get any other ones. So it's ridiculous. And we all just went, okay, I just believed it. If you're watching this video on a mobile app and you really like it, then please press the hype button. If you like it, hype it.
Create a sense of scarcity. Shells will sell much better if the people think they're rare, you see. Bear with me, take as many shells as you can find and hide them on an island. Stockpile them high until they're rarer than a diamond. Step 2. Gotta make the people think that they want them. Really want them, really fucking want them. Hit them like Bronson. Influencers, product placement, featured primetime entertainment. If you haven't got a shell, then you're just a fucking waste, man. Free.
Wow, that's so good. That is so interesting. That is the thing. Like, I was thinking the other day, like, I do got a lot of online shopping. And how many of us have got apps on our phones that keep pinging us things like, "Ooh, you've got a voucher for such and such a site," or if you buy such and such now, you'll get this much off something else. And it makes you think, oh, I should go and get those things. You might not even be thinking, oh, I need those things, like I've run out of pants or something. I don't know. Like, you're not even thinking, oh, I need to go and get such and such. But just everything being there at our fingertips, like they have figured out how to get humans to just keep buying stuff. It's like we're being controlled. It's horrendous. The amount of things that I buy that I'm like, ooh, that seemed nice. That's the kids are like that for Christmas. Whereas they could probably live without it. But I kind of convinced myself that's a great thing and their friends will be getting it, so I should go and do that too. Like we like brainwash ourselves into this. It's outrageous that we're such a consumer society now. And the whole thing with diamonds is, I think it was De Beers who did that thing where, because I remember when my husband proposed to me, my dad said something like, "Oh yeah, an engagement ring's meant to cost 3 months' salary." And do you know who it was who decided that? De Beers. They basically decided, they must have gone like, what do you want people to pay? Yeah, 3 months' salary for a ring. Like, that's stupid, isn't it? Like, ridiculous for a bit of jewellery. But they decided that. So now that's what people, for like decades now, that's what people have done. Because they think that's what it should cost. Whereas it doesn't. You can go and get a ring from anywhere. You don't even need a ring. Ring doesn't really mean anything. It's not that, I do love my rings. But yeah, I wouldn't have not married my husband without them. But it's programmed into us. That's what you need. That is the expectation. And social media really, carries that on, because we need stuff that looks good on Instagram, etc. It just perpetuates it. It's gross, isn't it, really? But we're all stuck in this cycle. And I don't know what the answer is. How do we get out of it? Is there any way? I don't know. It's quite frightening, isn't it? I feel like I'm spiraling. Oh God. It's, right. Let's learn the next bit of the economics lesson before I start crying.
There's product placement, featured primetime entertainment. If you haven't got a shell, then you're just a fucking waste, man. Free. It's monopoly. Invest inside some property. Start a corporation, make a logo, do it properly. Shells must sell, that will be a new philosophy. Swallow all your morals, they're a poor man's quality. 4. Expand.
Or swallow all your morals, they're a poor man's quality. Wow. It's written like a nursery rhyme, but in such a smart way. I'm stunned by his lyrical ability. He's just so clever. His command of language is just brilliant. These lines just trip off the tongue and you're like, oh, that's really clever. That makes you stop and think. As if having morals is for chumps, for idiots. And like, if you have morals, you're going to be poor. To have rich, you have to have no morals, is essentially what it's saying.
Invest inside some property. Start a corporation, make a logo, do it properly. Shells must sell, that will be your new philosophy. Swallow all your morals, they're a poor man's quality. 4. Expand, expand, expand. Clear forest, make land, fresh blood on hands. 5. Why just shells? Why limit yourself? She sells seashells, sell oil as well. 6. Sell stock, sell diamonds, sell rock, sell water to a fish, sell the time to a clock. 7. Press on the gas, take your foot off the brakes, then run to be the president of the United States. 8. Big smile, make big wave. That's great, now the truth is overrated. Tell lies out the gate. 9. Polarize the people, controversy is the game. It don't matter if they hate you, if they all say your name. 10.
Oh my gosh, that was unbelievable. I love how the pacing, it stays the same, but it feels more urgent because his voice is going up slightly. So he's kind of starts there and then it gets to here. And it also feels more urgent and more kind of aggressive. It's like he's so outspoken. He just doesn't care. Like I really appreciate that. Like I tend to stay very politically neutral, but it's very hard to watch this and not have opinions on politics. And this line is perfect. Polarize the people, controversy is the game. To bring people together, what they need is a really good enemy. And that's polarizing people. But by polarizing people, you give them an enemy. And then they got someone to blame. It's so horrible that we still fall for that. It's heartbreaking. It really is. Working in the music industry is not well paid, as we've talked about before. So if you would like to support me, you can buy me a coffee. Or a tea, as I say, because I'm British and drink a lot of tea. Doing that will enable me to pay my bills, make more videos like this, and support my family. I'm so grateful to everyone who's already done that. It's honestly, it means the absolute world to all of us, so thank you. If you would like a more regular way to support me, you can become a member of the Colour Wave crew, and you'll get to see videos before anybody else.
Smile, make big wave, that's great, now the truth is overrated. Tell lies out the gate. 9. Polarize the people, controversy is the game. It don't matter if they hate you, if they all say your name. 10. The world is yours. Step out on the stage to a round of applause. You're a liar, cheat, a devil, a whore, and you sell seashells on the seashore. Rain, 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 rain. A storm, it comes our way. And no surprise to distorted lies. Poison in the veins, but we died upon the blame, 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 blame. It's easier to blame, but point the mirror at ourselves. We're all part of this whole money game. This old money game.
Oh my goodness. So is that the official music video for this? Because it's amazing. It is amazing. And such an interesting choice because I've not seen a Ren video like that. It is so controversial and so brilliant. And the image is moving so fast. It kind of gives you anxiety at how busy the world is and how desperate we are to win and to be out there and for it to be our name that's on everybody's lips and things. It's quite stressful. And to juxtapose like Scrooge McDuck and like Deal or No Deal with Hitler and things, it's like it just brings all these things together and you kind of go, wow, that's everything is about money. Everything is about wanting to climb that ladder. Everything is about wanting to climb and push other people down climbing because we want to be better than them. So we have to push other people down. It's outstanding and like vocally gorgeous, like so interesting. And going into this second chorus, he sings it quite differently and it's not as jazzy. It's got a bit more edge to it. And I like that he's using some grit in his voice. So you have true vocal folds, which are the vocal folds that come together and you sing, that's the normal ones. Then you've got false vocal folds that come over the top, and they're the ones that we use for swallowing. So when you pull your false vocal folds over, you get this kind of constricted kind of sound. And he's using that quite a bit here, which creates more kind of tension and force, and you don't feel that relaxed vocal he has earlier in the song. It's really a really interesting use of constriction. as the money is constricting him and his life. It's like he's doing that in his vocal. I don't know if that was a conscious choice, but that's how it's coming across, and it's really clever. The other thing this reminds me of with the numbers, like lesson 1, lesson 2, is 10 Dual Commandments from Hamilton, and it lays out the rules of what you do and how and when. And this is very similar in that kind of, here's the method, this is what you do, and then one of you will come out victorious and the other one will die. And that's kind of the same message here, like just climb that ladder, achieve all those things, sell anything. And that bit at the end, it really makes you think, okay, well, what wouldn't I sell with opportunity? What wouldn't I diversify into? Are there things we'd say, oh, I don't really believe in doing something horrible to humans or doing something illegal? Would we, if there was a lot of money involved and it would make us rich and powerful and famous? Would we? That's a difficult question. We watched Ozark recently, and years ago we watched Breaking Bad, and that watching those characters who start off fairly normal and just make one or two slightly poor choices, often because of necessity. Like in Breaking Bad, he needs the money to pay for his cancer drugs because America, and then one bad choice leads to another bad choice, and then you're like, ooh, I'm stuck in this situation now, so you have to make another bad choice, and then suddenly you're embezzling money, or you've murdered someone, or you've caused something terrible to happen. And then by the end, they are the monsters that they never thought they'd be. And it's just this very slow drip of making choice after choice, and then suddenly you end up somewhere that you were not expecting to be. And it's quite scary that those are depicted as normal people, and that essentially we can all kind of go down that path, because it's easy to make a poor choice and then carry on making poor choices, particularly if money's involved. Colour-wise in this one, my brain is going mental. It's going, oh no, I can't say mental, should I? Colour-wise in this one, my brain is going absolutely crazy. And I'm not sure whether it's because the video has so many images so fast, but it's just everywhere. There's like reds and greens and blues and lots of quite aggressive, very bright, like scarlets and like traffic light red kind of things, like things that are really like assaulting me. And it's very fast and very like quick changes. It's quite exhausting as a song. It's so much information, and it's so interesting and so densely packed that you feel like you've watched like a firework display or something. You're a bit like, whoa, after that, like you have to kind of process it, and it just lit up my brain in so many ways. It was just amazing. And within all of that, Ren still has an absolutely incredible, gorgeous vocal. Please remember to like, subscribe, share and comment. I love all your comments, so please keep them coming. And remember to have a colourful day. Listening